Okay, hey guys, I'm here at the University of Washington Medical Center, starting out in the lab back there in blood draws. So this is going to be blood, a glucose test, a urinalysis, lots of testing today. So day one of all this testing is about to kick off. So I'll keep you posted as I go through, shoot what I can shoot, and just keep you updated. But right now it's just mostly blood draw, and then, like I said, a urinalysis, and then they're going to give me some. I've been fasting for 12 hours. I got to drink some sugary thing, and then come back in 2 hours and see how my blood glucose spiked. From having that, so we'll do that, and then after I drink that, I'm going to go do an EKG and do a bunch of stuff. So it's a pretty action-packed day. I'll go through the process and let you guys know what all I have to get through here. Mostly up to so far, it's been paperwork, lots and lots of paperwork. But then when they call me back, I'll take you in and show you another blood draw. I think I've shown you like 3 of them to this point already, but I think there should be another one. And they got to do a lot of testing, so I think they may take quite a bit of blood. And with 12 hours of fasting, losing a bunch of blood should be entertaining today, and not having any caffeine because of my fasting. So we'll see how well I do. All right.
Ryan?
Yay. Alexander?
Alexander.
That's me.
Hey,
I got it. Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Okay, first appointment of the day. Only 45 minutes behind. Okay, so I'm in the blood lab now. See all my stuff. My phlebotomist is getting all set up. So they're going to do a blood draw. They give me a glucose drink. And then I have to come back in 2 hours to see how the glucose spiked or did not spike my blood sugar. I'm sure it spikes it some, but we'll see how much it spikes it. While that's happening, I'll run off and do some of my other. I got to do an EKG. I got to go see one of the surgeons, I think, and talk to him a little bit, and or a kidney doctor. This is not the surgeon. The surgeon is later this afternoon, but I got to talk to a kidney doctor after this. So we'll talk a little bit about that as that goes. So I'll show you the my glucose drink and my blood draw here.
Sorry.
Right.
A little closer.
It feels like it. Glucose. That's a pretty decent sized bottle of glucose I gotta chug in the next 5 minutes or so. Calm pie. That's not bad. Definitely got some flavor in it. We'll be back in 2 hours. Okay, so that's one test down. Well, sort of 3-ish tests down at one place. So they drew a lot of blood. That's about as much blood as I've had pulled out of me during one of those tests, certainly. I'm sure you're either seeing or have seen a montage of all of the things that they filled. I also have to do, I'm gonna get into the bottle of water while I'm here. There's a urinalysis, and I'm like legendarily bad at peeing on demand. So I can't ever do it. So I just pick up the cup, and whenever I gotta go today, I bring it back. That's why I'm buying another bottle of water now, actually. In fact, I'm supposed to go do an EKG right now. I drank my glucose, so they're going to see how that spikes my blood sugar. I can't do the EKG because that took so long. They were so packed and I was behind that I have to go back and do that later. So I'm going to run upstairs and meet the kidney doctor, see what he has to say. And then I want to drink a bottle of water, so maybe I can get that other test done before it's over. See you guys in just a minute. So while I'm waiting on my next appointment, I'll give you my other fun fact, or a new fun fact of the day. Like we talked about, my sister gets a third kidney. Like they don't take one of hers out and replace it with mine. They actually give her a third. So I learned that the one that I keep will grow to become larger to be able to accommodate any increased load. And that's one of the reasons that like contact sports and anything more susceptible to injury, because it's bigger, because it's swollen, and it's not in your rib cage, right? So it's not totally protected, and so there's a risk of doing that. And so I kind of have to stay away from, impact things that could cause damage, physical damage from taking a blow or something like that. And I'm not really sure about jiu-jitsu yet. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, that was my cool fun fact that I learned last night when I was poking around doing a little extra research. For some reason, thinking about it here while I'm sitting waiting for the doctor's time to chat a little bit. Okay, change of plans. The doctor's tied up, so I'm gonna run over and do that EKG now, like I was kind of supposed to anyway. So I'll do the EKG and then I'll come back. They're also changing. I've got like a 24-hour blood pressure monitor. You guys were gonna find out here in a little bit anyway. So they put like a band on me, and it's got a little battery pack that you lug around for 24 hours. So it sounds like they've decided they don't want people doing that during appointments, because I guess maybe you get nervous and white coat and your blood pressure spikes and stuff. And so they're going to move that to the end of the day and then take it off first thing tomorrow, so I don't go to appointments tomorrow with it, so it'll be a little less than 24 hours. But that's coming up, and then maybe I'll just meet with the doctor at the end of the day today, stay a little bit later and do him after my last scheduled appointment for today. But for now, I'm going to go try and get an EKG, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, you can put your arms down by your side there for me. Sure. Now that's the total of the whole thing, hooking you up and doing EKG.
Okay, so that's height, weight, BMI, blood pressure. Sorry, I'm vlogging. Height, weight, I did the height and the weight to get a good BMI, which is solid. So my weight's good, which I'm very happy about. Did my blood pressure was great. So everything's like full steam ahead on the things I can control, which was sort of losing weight and making sure that my blood pressure was in a good place. Now it's more a matter of just chilling out and making sure that there's not stuff that I can't control that cause any incompatibility. I'm supposed to meet with a doctor now, but his schedule, like I said, is tied up. They may pull forward the nurse that I was supposed to meet with and talk to Cammie. We'll see who comes in next. I have no idea. I'm just going to sit here and chill out and wait. Okay, so I just spent about 20 minutes with the nurse coordinator, Cammie, and it was really awesome. I got to ask a bunch of questions about recovery and like what I can do and what I can't do after, and when I can do it, and how long I have to be here, and all that kind of jazz. So stuff I definitely wanted, but stuff you guys don't need to see us sit here and talk about. So it sounds like it's like 2 weeks to come in on a Monday and do a pre-op visit. Wednesday is the surgery. And then not the next Monday, but the Monday after that, I have another follow-up appointment, like in the 2 weeks. It's 12 days after surgery, 2 weeks after the pre-op visit. And then she said I could go from that appointment to the airport and try and go home if I wanted to, if I felt up to it. Also, if I'm staying downtown, they said I could walk around, I could go to the farmer's market and get food and sort of feed myself, which I care about. They didn't want me driving for a while, but that's mostly because of the pain meds. They give some pretty serious pain meds, and so whenever I can stop taking the pain meds, I can drive. I could probably work a couple of weeks after, work from home, do some remote stuff, but it would be until I got off the pain meds and could drive before I could go into the office and do some things. So that's all encouraging. Sounds good. And we got to decide, like, if I'm coming out by myself or people coming with me, or if Tracy, my sister's got some folks that can help out or something. So we'll see what happens there. I'm supposed to meet with the doctor now. I think he's freed up, so he should be here any second now. And I'll chat with him and see what he has to say. He's going to do an exam as well, so we'll figure out what's going on. Okay, another appointment down. That one was really good. I met with the kidney doctor, and he gave me some really good information about increased risk after the procedure, like down 30 years from now. Like, what are the risks going to be for me? Which are, there's a slight increased potential for high blood pressure, and then one for like kidney failure as well, like a kidney disease, not kidney failure, I should say, but like kidney disease. And like a lot of that's because you just have one, and then there's a lot of risk factors about just having one, where a lot of times if somebody has like a kidney stone and maybe it blocks off one of your kidneys, your other kidney sort of does all the work. And so it's not that big a deal. It's not a life-threatening like emergency situation to deal with a stone. Whereas if you only have one kidney and you get a stone and it blocks that kidney, it's an emergency. You have to do something about it. So those kinds of increased risks were really good to hear about. I also ran over over and did blood draw again. So that's my 2 hours after drinking the glucose. I peed in a cup, which I'm proud of myself because I'm terrible at that. And usually what happens is I'll drink so much water trying to get myself to pee in that cup that for the rest of the day I'm just going to pee every 10 minutes. But I did go do that test, so I got my urinalysis going. And so yeah, I'm learning a lot. And I'm thinking next I'm going to talk to one of the surgeons. Is the next conversation, which should be really interesting to learn a little bit more about the procedure. So the kidney doctor was talking more about long-term, what things are going to look like and how I'm going to have to deal with that for the rest of my life. Whereas I think next I want to talk a little bit about the procedure itself, and then the what are we going to do in the recovery, the immediate short-term recovery from the surgery. So I'll fill you in on that as soon as I know more.
And then, okay, we're gonna do left arm, which is great. Do you have someone at home that can help you put it on?
No.
No, okay. You're gonna just kind of have to fumble it.
Yeah, I think I can make it work. I can make it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this just clicks on there, and that button releases
Okay.
it.
Got it? Yep.
Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it on. Okay. And I'm pushing the blue button. You don't have to do this though.
Okay. It'll just do it on its own from now on.
Yes, it should. Do this. And it says 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay.
And it will do that countdown.
I'll probably never see
So
it.
if you think it's about to do it, you can always peek.
Will it always be counting down?
It'll
Oh,
count
okay.
down.
I can tell when it's
One's
coming.
across the screen, 2's across the screen, 3's across.
But it won't like count down for 20 minutes.
No.
Okay. Just
No,
when it's
it
about
just
to start.
counts that right before it's about to start.
Okay. So that's day one in the tubes. Lots of conversations, a little bit of blood draw, or a lot of blood draw, I guess. Urinalysis, a couple other things. I just got this 24-hour blood pressure monitor put on me finally, so it's going to go off every 20 minutes until 10 o'clock, and then once an hour until 6 a.m., and then I'll be back here tomorrow at noon. Since I'm here in town, my sister's going to come pick me up. We're going to go hang out a little bit and talk and catch up a little bit, and also talk a little bit about the surgery and kind of what we want to do and what our plan's going to be. So I'm going to do that, but I'll bring you guys back in with me in the morning to show you what day 2 of the qualification looks like. Until then, night. Okay, hey guys, back at UW Medical Center for day 2 of my testing. I've had this thing on for almost the 24 hours now. It's tough to sleep with this thing firing off once an hour. Overnight it does once an hour. It does every 20 minutes after 6 a.m., which is still overnight to me. So it woke me up quite a few times. It was a rough night's sleep. I went in and did my chest x-ray really quickly this morning. I'm trying to get a couple of things out of the way. My last appointment's at 4 o'clock today, and I got a flight like at 6. So I'm trying to move a couple of things forward and get out of here if I can. If I can get that CT scan done early, then I can probably get out here and make my flight. If not, I might be staying an extra night. So once again, so I've done a chest x-ray. That's all I've done today. As I do the other appointments, I'll keep you guys updated, and then I'll get home. And I'll talk to you guys in a minute when my first appointment comes up. Back in the transplant center, maybe even in the same room, in fact. So I'll tell you my schedule for today. I've got a pharmacy evaluation, a transplant surgeon conversation, which should be interesting, independent living donor advocate, a dietary consult, and then I got to go do that CT scan. So we're going to try and pull it in as much as we can, get me out of here on time to hopefully make my flight. But as I go through each of these today's appointments, which I think is going to be kind of like the end of the day yesterday, where I'll just be here and people will sort of cycle through and hit all these appointments. And so hopefully we can plow through. It looks like there's a lot of padding in here, so hopefully if people have time, we can pull it in a little bit. But I'll keep you posted and let you know what happens after each of these conversations. Okay, so that was a med consult, which was kind of interesting. He was talking about the pain meds I'll be taking both in the hospital and once I go home, and then some cautions about things down the road. So I can't take ibuprofen anymore because there's some potential toxicity for the kidneys in that process. So no, I have to take Tylenol instead of ibuprofen or Advil or those kinds of things, which is an interesting thing I had no idea about. And then warned a little bit about some of the supplements and herbal medicines and stuff, and a lot of hormonal precursors and things that people take that I need to stay away from those kinds of things because I want to stay away from anything that needs extra detoxing just to be safe. So that was a pretty quick conversation, but informative. And I had no idea about the ibuprofen thing because I do take Advil. That's what I take now. So I have to switch back over to Tylenol, I guess, and start doing Tylenol instead. So next is the surgeon. They paged him. He's supposed to be on his way. So I'll update you guys once I know more from him. Okay, that was a really awesome chat with the surgeon. I learned a ton. I'm not going to download it all to you right this second because I'm about to do my next appointment, but before I close out this video, I'll redo some of the things that he told me, which was really good. So he's the guy that would actually be doing the surgery on me, and yeah, I feel pretty reassured after going through that. It was a really good conversation. I learned a lot. Also, I asked him if I'd be able to get like a video or some recording or some photos or stuff of the procedure so I could share it with you guys, and he's totally on board with that. So I think we'll be able to do that, which would be really cool. He may even let me like set up a camera and stuff and do some really cool stuff. And you know, if they have people here that do some recording, get me a copy, or even let us do some things. So that would be really awesome. So hopefully you'll get to see some you know, a kidney donor get a kidney ripped out of it. So we'll see how that records. So I'm going to do my other sessions. I'll loop back and tell you a little bit more about what he told me later. Okay, hey guys, down at radiology now to get the CT scan finally. I wrapped up with the dietitian and the social worker and the surgeon. So I'll kind of give you a recap of all of that stuff as time goes on. I'm going to try and get my CT scan done here real quick, and I'll catch you up as I sit down probably and fill out some more paperwork. Okay, so I've basically been eating more or less a vegan diet for a while now, with a cheat meal once a week, once every 2 weeks or something like that. So the dietitian was pretty happy with where I was and actually was encouraging me to be a little less vegan and maybe vegetarian or pescatarian and bring in some dairy, or maybe even bring in a little fish to kind of up my protein levels, especially after the surgery to recover. She was concerned about my protein levels and my ability to recover after surgery. So if I come down here and do the surgery, I'll be staying down by Pikes, and so that's a great place to get some fish and a great time to be a pescatarian again. So I'll probably go back down that path. But even like yogurt or eggs or some dairy stuff that she was recommending, so I'll probably go that way and make some dietary changes. The social worker was much more about, you know, am I being coerced? I feel a lot of pressure from family or anything like that to do the surgery, or am I doing it just purely of my own free will? So we had a really good conversation about that stuff. I think she was satisfied that I wasn't being forced to do it. So that was a good conversation, and thought about like mental health and anxiety and recovery and like how you're going to deal with recovery and stuff. I think that went really well. And so I think the social work stuff went pretty well. The surgeon went like in really deep detail into what the surgery looks like and that, like how he stuffs his hand into my stomach, and when he's using the tools that kind of poke in to guide the tool for the laparoscopic piece, like how he puts his hand behind it so that if it jabs through.
Alexander.
Yep.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
So we're going to start an IV, and then the IV is going to allow us to give you the dye, and that dye highlights all the blood vessels in your body.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
How long does that take?
the scan takes I think about 10 minutes
But how long does it take for the dye to?
to go in.
Yeah.
No, not long.
Oh, you don't have to wait for that. It's fast enough that it just happens.
Yeah, so they'll let you know when they put the dye in. Once they put the dye in, there's like different times that we take pictures.
Oh,
They
okay,
want us to
cool.
see the kidneys
So
at.
it progresses. Yeah.
Yes, and so the whole process takes about 10 minutes.
Okay. Awesome.
But the dye goes in pretty quickly, and you'll feel hot.
Okay.
You'll get a metallic taste in your mouth. Sensation like you're peeing your pants, but you're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Those are all normal, and they'll go away. Right. Okay. Palm up for me. There you go.
Okay.
That's the only thing I remember. I don't know any other one. I might have had some other one, but I can't remember.
She said you would remember if you had it. Symptom of that hot flash and
Oh, I don't remember the
get the
thought
all
process.
that stuff.
Normally that's a really good one.
There we go.
Don't get
Okay.
any extra, don't get any, surgery now.
All right.
Gotta see if I can pass it.
Well, and I think that was one of the things that Dr. Bush said something about getting to wherever was complicated on the vessels. It's not the
Cool.
Just a little saline flush here, and then we'll be set.
Awesome.
complicated area to get into. So this
Yeah, I'm trying to document this whole process for. Wait, my daughter has a YouTube channel,
Oh.
and so we're kind of talking to her YouTube subscribers about the process of donating a kidney and kind of what all you have to go through, and yeah, so people thinking about it can kind of see
What it takes.
what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You get the paper in the computer, okay?
Okay. Okay, so I'm in the CT scan area now. Got my IV in, kind of getting ready to go. They're going to put the dye in. They said the dye will make me taste metal. It'll make my body sort of flush hot, and it will make me feel like I peed my pants, even though I didn't. So I've got that to look forward to at least. So let's see how that goes when they come over here and pump this dye in me. Guys, I'm back in Denver. I've been meaning to record an update for a long time now, or a wrap up, I guess, of the stuff that we did in Seattle. But while I was waiting and not getting things set up, I got some results back on the ultrasound that I did, and they saw some cysts on my liver, or what they think are cysts on my liver, some growth or some sacs. And the CT scan wasn't the best technology to know exactly what's going on there, so they asked me to go do an ultrasound. So I'm here at one of the hospitals in Denver to get the ultrasound follow-up done so they can make sure that those are just little benign cysts and not any big deal, and then we can move forward with the transplant. They didn't seem to be too concerned about it. They felt like everything was going to be fine, but it's just sort of a verification to make sure that everything's good. So I'm here today. I'm going to do that. I'll take you through that, and then I'll actually post this video so that everybody can see what happened in Seattle and what happened here. So I'm going to go get checked in. I'll talk to you guys in a second. So I'm getting checked in, and so one thing I will advise you of if you're going to go through this process is that the living donor program out of Seattle for me, but whoever you're going through, pays for all of your medical stuff, all of your testing, but it is always an ordeal. Like, you will always have to spend time with people and have conversations and try and convince them that it's not supposed to go in your insurance, that it's being paid for, and even when they call and schedule things ahead of time, you're always going to have to go back and forth and do this stuff. So allocate a little bit of time and be prepared for some frustration, sort of going back and forth and doing those things, and just be laid back and sort of get through the whole process. But yeah, so once again, like, this is the first time I've been at this place, and so we're having that conversation, and we'll see how it all goes. But it always works out in the end. It just takes a little bit of time to get it done. Even in the medical center of the University of Washington, it took a couple of conversations to get things done once or twice, so much less here in Denver. So I'm sure everything will be just fine, but I wanted to mention that because this has definitely been a recurring theme in getting the work done. But I'll be back in a minute with a test. Okay, I'm signed in, I have new jewelry, and I'm going to radiology. So like I said, it all works out in the end. It just takes a couple extra conversations. Okay, so I got my scan, and the reason I have my scans is because the saga continues slightly in this qualification process, where here getting the ultrasound done to confirm what the cysts, I guess, the cystic bodies or whatever on my liver, they couldn't find them here. So they were looking around and they couldn't find anything, and they brought in a different tech and sort of scanned it again and looked at it and couldn't find them. This is the one test I've done where the technician wouldn't let me shoot video because he was worried about liability if he missed something, but it was on my video or whatever. But because of what happened, I do have the CD now, so I'll post a couple of pictures. You can see my liver. What happened, or what's going to happen now, is either the University of Washington will send my CT scan here, and the radiologist here will compare that to the ultrasound to make sure they looked in the right place and couldn't see anything, or I'll send this disc, or the contents of this disc, to Seattle, and their radiologist will compare this ultrasound with what they've got in their CT scan, and we'll see if they can compare it, or we'll do both. Who knows? So trying to cover my bases and asking for the CD this time so that at least if they want to look at it in Washington, they can. So that's where I'm at. There's more to come, obviously, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and post it so that people can kind of track what's going on, see what's happening. We're getting really close, I think. As soon as they sign off on this one last thing, then we should be able to schedule the surgery. That'll be the next step, is scheduling the surgery. So hopefully that'll happen soon, and I'll keep you guys posted. All right? Thanks.